Hey guys, it's me again, Irina, and I hope you are doing good. Today I'd like to talk to you about stereotypes because personally I have dedicated quite a long time to debunk a lot of stereotypes. Well, relatively few, I guess, but still for me it's quite many. Um, and the reason, I guess, is I'm Russian first and foremost, and there are a lot of stereotypes that you guys probably have about Russians. And personally, I don't drink, or I drink very, very little. It's like um, my limit is one drink, and usually I will have it in maybe 3 to 6 months. So I'm not a regular drinker, and I'm definitely not a social drinker as well. Um, so I don't tend to go to bars or pubs in order to have a glass of something and enjoy myself. Usually not what I would do. Still, there are people like this in Russia, obviously, but um, for me, I guess it's strange when people label you as a drinker immediately upon meeting you, and that's kind of messed up. And I also have dedicated my academic years to research of the dialects and specifically the perception of the dialects. And I know that you probably have the idea of a person in your head when you're thinking of Cockney, for example, or when you're thinking about someone from Alabama with their specific accent. And the thing is, our brains create stereotypes. So it's not something that we can just not do at all. Um, because, well, at least we can try not to buy into the stereotypes, but the thing is that they are natural reaction. It's it's not something that is inherently bad, um, because we do them, like we do create them in order to use less brain power. Because, for example, if you would have no experience with, let's say, a person from, let's say, the Philippines, and like you have never encountered one, and it's not likely that you will encounter one, then for you the stereotype will represent a person from the Philippines, and it will be at least some information that you have on those people, because in order to have more information you will have to do some research, read about it, and so on and so forth. But if you don't want to do this, and you are not likely to meet somebody from the Philippines, then it's actually quite natural for you to decide to just stick with the stereotype. However, this is very, very limiting, because if you are having this chance, like if you do have the chance to meet a person from the Philippines, you might decide that you don't like them even before meeting them, unfortunately. And what happens is you expect them to be a certain way, and you either like this certain way or you don't like this way at all. And if you are like in alliance, let's say, like if you like what your image, like the image in your head is, then you will likely meet this person. And if this person will be drastically different from the image that you created, and actually you will see quite clearly that this person is very, very different from the stereotype, then you will change your opinion. Sometimes people actually create their opinion based on this one person. So for example, I would meet a person from the Philippines, and previously I thought that these people, let's say, are very tall, and I meet a Filipino, and he is very short. So I would be like, the person from the Philippines is short, so everybody is. That could be an example of the change in the stereotype. So it's still a stereotype because you haven't met many people from the Philippines. You have just met one, and based on this one encounter, you have changed the stereotype. Or what you can do is you can think of this person as an exception to the rule. So you still think that all the Filipinos are tall, but this particular person is short. The same you can think about me, for example, that every Russian person is a drunk except me. That would also be an example of this exception, right? However, if we think about it logically, then we will understand that there's no such thing as every person being the same. And if you look at your country, you will probably agree that not every person in your country is the same way. And this goes for pretty much any country, any social group, any let's say accent, and so on and so forth. Profession as well. So not every doctor is caring. Unfortunately, I would like them to all be very caring, but doesn't work like this. Not let's say every southerner is hospitable. Not every New Yorker is mean, and so on and so forth. Of course, there are things that are typical for a culture. For example, for Russians, what we have, at least what people think we have, is the lack of smiling. And there's like the Russian smile, I think, even in WikiHow. So that Russians do smile, they just smile differently. But a lot of people think that Russians don't smile at all. However, I think if you look at me, I have been smiling quite a lot during this video even. So we do smile. We might not smile as openly. I mean, we don't show our teeth that much, so we can smile like this without teeth. It's still a smile, but not something that you might be used to. And that's a cultural difference. I would maybe say that it's due to the climate, but when again, Russia has a lot of different climates. That's why that would be, again, stereotyping. And we, of course, need to pay attention to the cultural differences and not expect other people to behave the way we want them to behave in the way that is acceptable in our culture, or that is in accordance to the stereotype that we have in our head. both of this would be actually quite diminishing for the person, because the person doesn't have to like fit the mold that you have created in your head. And I would actually advise maybe to get to know a person without judgment. So at least try to withhold your judgment until maybe you understand this person better. But I guess that's my problem, at least with stereotypes, because stereotypes is judgment, and it's judgment without too much of the basis for it, and without even trying to understand another person. And well, that's my take on stereotypes. I think I will talk more about this, especially since I told you that it's basically what I do, right? So it's what I have been studying, what I have been researching, and there is a lot of information that I can share about stereotypes, but I think that will be it for now. And again, this channel is called Asking You to Think, so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm asking you to think about stereotypes. What is your take? If you create your own video on this topic, please leave a link to your video in the comments. I would be very grateful, and I would really like to watch and to hear what you think about the topic, or you can just write your answer down. Again, the better your explanation is, I mean, the more information you give, the better, I guess. The information should be relevant, however. So I think that is it for now. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.